Hello guys, what is going on? I'm Nozdo and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be reviewing the issue 1 of Justice League. It's a reboot of the Justice League franchise, the series, a new run basically, with Schneider at the helm, like his in a lot of DC stuff right now. Yeah, this really made me like Martian Manhunter, like unbelievably so. I have watched Supergirl season 1 and season 2, so don't spoil season 3 for me. I haven't watched that yet. I'm the same with the Flash and actually Agents of Shield. I haven't seen the latest seasons of any of them. Anyway, so Martian Manhunter in Supergirl isn't great. He's fine. He has some okay moments, but the actor is actually god awful. He's god awful in literally everything he's been in. He's a very much a theater actor. He just doesn't suit the screen whatsoever. But yeah, in this, Martian Manhunter is really cool. Practically, he's very cool. He's like, not only does he provide telecommunications for everyone, he also gives advice, can see memories, how their mind works, and piece stuff together and work out stuff that from like the perspective of like 7 different people or 6 different people. Sorry. Um, and the story itself it seems very epic just because of the first page. Let me just go to the first page for you. Like 85,000 years ago, when we see these sort of versions of the Justice League, showing that maybe like the superpowered survived and then like sort of like went on. Um, but yeah, so we get to see like versions of people that we've seen before. Um, so far from the distance and stuff like that in like 85,000 years from now, example. And we see that this, whatever was spawned from what just happened, wasn't just going to be devastation for Earth, it was going to be devastation for everything, but it was going to be slowly, and it was going to be very intimate, and it was going to be. It's like it's set off like this chain reaction almost. And when you're at the start of the chain reaction, and as Martian Manhunter now knows, it could potentially end our life. But also, they need it right now to survive because the multiverse is going to end. Then it's a really tough decision to make. Well, it's not necessarily a tough decision. I mean, if it was die now or in 85,000 years, um, you know, oh no, no. Well, it would die in 5,000 years apparently, because if you go to the fourth panel down, it says that it's heading back for Earth, which means they would die in like 5,000 years potentially. Um, but yeah, and that's like a really hard decision to make. Wait, what am I saying? No, it's not a hard decision to make, but it's like it's very overcoming the thought of like, oh, this has begun now, potentially from my actions, that everything in the universe is going to die because of this big secret entity that could also help the humans like any other species evolve. It's got a bunch of different properties, but overall it's destruction from what I've seen anyway. Now, what I wanted to say in particular was that this panel was really cool. I mean, like the couple of first panels were really nice, but the end bit down here was like turn the knob to open like the door. I really like that. That was really cool. Um, but yeah, just panels like this where it's just Martian Manhunter at the bottom. That Martian Manhunter panel at the bottom, how narrow it is, and but it's still really cool. Just the fact that he's like at the helm and helping everyone else at the same time. I really do enjoy that. He's like because he he can actually like fight, but his like main property is actually priority is to be like sort of like a communications device. But then he turns into a goddamn dragon, which is super cool. Now, when it comes to comedy in DC, even in the Flash, I don't particularly like enjoy the comedic aspects. Even in Flash, quite recently, it's been very sort of dire. Um, Arc has been going from darker to darker to darker. It feels like Batman at the moment, to be honest. But seeing like a bunch of comedy in Justice League, and there's always Batman who's very funny in the Justice League stuff I've read in the past. I did read a bit of Justice League, and I've read a bunch of like a different comics. I've read some Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, but I haven't been caught up. I've read the start of Rebirth. Like, I've read almost every perspective, every comic that came out at the start of Rebirth. Like, I was very much on that wave. But I haven't been keeping up with anything else but the Flash. So maybe I don't have like certain connective tissue with this story. As you can probably tell, I'm not really talking too much about the characters like I do with every other comic. Like, usually I do like to delve deep into the characters and what makes them tick, whether they're written well, whether the dialogue based on how they've been written actually suits them and works in every conversation, because a lot of times it actually doesn't, just because due to laziness or due to the way that the story's begun, the way the story's going, it doesn't really suit the character. Um, the art in this is fine. It's sort of very DC, very muted in places, and the only thing that usually shines is is the costumes. Like, for example, in this panel here, like the only thing that stands out apart from Batman, obviously, is the costumes, and they are in space. But I'm using that as an example because in a lot of DC, the things that are important, the things that stand out, are the um, are the as like the people, and like the very separate to the backgrounds. But I mean, it's exactly the same for this one as well. Like, it's just like the League of Villains essentially, and yeah. So that's another thing as well. I don't really, and I know nothing about the villains other than Grodd. Grodd, I know quite a lot about because of the TV show, and obviously the recent Flash run. I thought it was really really cool, and I really enjoyed that. And it sort of like brought another side to Flash, which I knew was there, but I didn't know how prominent it was. And so actually seeing him be able to do that was very cool, and he's got very. I mean, like, all of these characters are very connected to the characters that we see in the Justice League. Obviously, there isn't like rogues from outside of the current circle. So we got Cheetah, obviously got Manta, Joker, Grodd, and Sinestro. Sinestro? I think I remembered that right. I've only seen two Green Lantern. I mean, I've only read two Green Lantern comics. Um, but yeah, the story itself right now, it was set up really well. It's getting me excited for the next one 100%. And overall, it was a good first issue. It wasn't amazing. The main thing I took away from it, like I said, that's why I started the review with saying this, is that Martian Manhunter is really cool. This comic has made me really, really enjoy Martian Manhunter. If they get to the point where they reboot Martian Manhunter, I just from checking the comics every week, there hasn't really been any Martian Manhunter stuff. But if they do reboot it, I will 100% be jumping on that. Just because, like, these team up stuff, a lot of times they do get me really excited for specific characters. Just off the top of my head, Doctor Strange Damnation. Maybe pick up a Moon Knight paperback, a trade paperback, sorry. With my loyalty points from Traveling Man. I think I had like £15 on my loyalty points, and they're also doing a deal on actually that specific Moon Knight trade. So that was nice. But the next issue is going to be Doom on Earth. So that's going to be interesting now, isn't it? Very excited for that. And yeah, so overall, like I said, relatively good. I would recommend picking up this first issue to read to see if you like it yourself. If I didn't like Martian Manhunter, I would 100% hate this issue. So it's very much character driven for me why I like it. If that's different for you, then that's different for you. You might like someone else. But Martian Manhunter is definitely the vocal point, the focus of this whole thing. And so if you actually don't like the character in general, then you're not going to like this issue. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Done 3 other comic reviews today. So if you want to see some Marvel stuff, then make sure to check them out. Like I said, I have caught up to the Flash, but there is no Flash reviews on my channel at the moment because I literally caught up about a week ago. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to record my review for Flash War Part 1, even though that came out a few weeks ago, right before Flash War Part 2 comes out, just so there's a bit of coherence, if people want to go back and see my thoughts on the first one when they've come to see the second one, and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, hopefully not too disappointed that there isn't some Flash stuff, but when Flash is next out, it's gone from bi-weekly to monthly recently for some reason. I don't know why. I actually really enjoyed the writing despite it was bi-weekly, and a lot of times comics do suffer from going bi-weekly. But in my experience recently, that's not been the case. Doctor Strange has been pretty much weekly because they've been swapping from Doctor Strange main series to Doctor Strange Damnation every week, and so that's been actually really really good despite it being weekly. And the same with the Flash; it was bi-weekly for a couple of months, I think. Um, so the writing's been very good. I'm sad it's going to a month, but maybe because they're starting to set up and move stuff around with the DC universe now. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next one. Goodbye.